of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Will you roll calls?
No.
Take that off. Approve agendas tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and move right on into public comments. We do have a slip from Mr. Matthew Shepard from Perry. Floor is yours, sir.
As I mentioned yesterday, the Veterans Relief Fund is there in place to help veterans in need. As I ascertained here, I correct myself, there was over $400,000 as of last month. With winter taxes, there's nearly $700,000 sitting in an account for the Veterans Relief Fund. I again ask why this money is not being utilized to help veterans in need with over 30 pages of documentation that restricts veterans to getting their need. In the Veteran Services millage, there's over $800,000. There's a rumor going around that there's plans that this county might build its own facility with the Veterans Trust Fund, or the Relief Fund actually. That is not legal. If they want to use money like that, then they would have to go through the Veterans Service millage to do so. That's all I have for right now.
Thank you, Mr. Shepard. Mr. Les Schneider from Jordan. Floor is yours.
How you doing? I know it's been a little while. Subject I'm sure you don't want to talk about is but our DAV van that was, I'm going to claim, mistakenly used as by the county. I went upstairs, I got all the paperwork, as is from our director, Mike Reeves, all of his emails, everything, and nowheres in any of it says that the DAV is going to willingly give the county our van. That van, when it's turned in, goes to National DAV. Then it goes from National, the title goes to State DAV, and then gets reappointed down to chapter level for the county. The county VA has got nothing involved in it. And I went through all of their correspondence, emails, everything. Not one place does it say that you can give it to the county. It's a DAV asset. I brought this up before, and it was signed for by our director, who is not a DAV member or a DAV representative. And it has to be signed for by somebody from the DAV local chapter as a rep. Never happened. And it was quite quickly turned around and signed over to family court without the DAV even knowing that it was back in the county. The state adjutant for the DAV, for his part, in not making that absolutely clear, he is no longer a part of the DAV. We're not asking for anything other than you guys to make it right. When we turned the van in, I asked you guys is if you were interested in the van, in purchasing it. The answer was no, there was too much maintenance, too much liability, too much. I also asked the VA director, same question, and it was still no. And then all of a sudden, 2 months after the fact, I find out that it had not only been returned to the county, but returned and transferred over to family court. It did not go through the VA channels, the VA committee, anything. Nobody up there knew what was going on except the director and the chairperson. The chairperson is no longer chairperson. Part of it was, our reasoning for not voting for him for another term was he had made some decisions that should have went to committee, and it never did. So we lost some faith in him, a couple of us anyway, enough to vote him out and put somebody else in. It would have been comparatively you as chairperson making calls without the rest even knowing that you was making a call. This is a $23,000 asset that the DAV chapter was counting on to keep our doors open in the county and to help veterans in the county that we are no longer able to do. Because of you guys' decision to not do anything about this van over the last couple months, the chapter is no longer going to be a chapter. So you're going to lose a service organization. The rest of the service organizations, as we've talked to, they are not happy. So the big thing is that you're taking money away from a 501c veteran nonprofit to save a little bit of money for the county. The bad part, which is enough in itself, the state commander and the national are very well aware of what happened. They've seen all this. And according to them, Shiawassee will not get another DAV van, period. I don't care how much money it can come up with, that we're not in the business of selling. The last one that we're talking about was not bought and paid for by the county. I know this because I was the state commander that got the grant passed for $0. So it didn't cost you anything, and then you decided, we got it, we're going to keep it. We've already transferred the title. Too bad, so sad. It's a real shame. On top of it, you guys, a few months ago decided to claim that there are no homeless veterans in our county. So you weren't going to help us when we were trying to put, tiny homes on wheels for homeless vets. That's you guys' call. We were just looking for a patch of grass. But not having any veterans in the county is a real mistaken comment. Proof of that is both the outfit in Bancroft, the Welcome Home, and now the other one that is bought the Old Pleasant View, Fiddler's Green, and those are facilities for homeless veterans. But why would two organizations that are willing to spend millions of bucks to help veterans be doing that if they listen to you and you guys say there are no veterans, there's no homeless veterans? Why in the hell is this, pardon my language, why is it two organizations are willing to spend that kind of money to help homeless veterans in a county that doesn't have them? So I'm asking you is to rethink your previous decisions. There are homeless veterans out there. We need to help them. We need to help the homeless in our county completely. Marlene, is you're very well aware of this in your connections in Owasso. As is, and all I ask is just please rethink it. We're trying to help people that can't help themselves. And that's why we're, the thing about the van. We could use, as much money as we could get for the use of the van to help homeless vets that are in need. They can't get it anywhere else. So keeping an asset is worth that kind of money just because you got away with it. It's going to bite you in 4 years when you're going to have to buy another van. And it's not going to be through the DAV. So you'll pay top dollar through a dealership someplace. As is, and it's just, there's nothing good about the whole situation. Okay, so thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schneider. Are there any other individuals from the public that would like to address the board at this time? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and now move on to our committee motions and reports. And as always, we'll start off with our Finance and Administration Committee report. Chairman Plowman from that committee, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The committee moved to consider authorizing the Clerk's Vital Records Office to hire a part-time employee up to 24 hours per week, starting at $14.77 per hour, grade 3, step 1, to be paid from the CPL revenue funds, line item 263-215-703.
So moved.
We have a motion and support for item A under Finance. Any discussion or questions over this item?
Mr. Chairman, yes,
Yes.
I would like to make a comment. I worked hard on this year's budget, and regardless of where we are going to get the funds, we don't have them. If we have extra money, I would say let's put it towards the MERS that we have. And I think it's fiscally irresponsible with the budget that we put forth this year to add any additional employees. That's where I stand.
Any other commissioners care to discuss? Comment? Hearing none. All in favor of moving item A forward to tomorrow signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Motion carries. 2 nays.
Mr. Chairman, that concludes that report.
Thank you, Commissioner Plowman. At this time, then we will move on to our Economic and Physical Development Committee report. The chairman of that committee is also Mr.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The committee moved to consider resolution number 20-02-02, authorizing the county's zoning administrator or planning commission to assess and escrow fees from applicants for paying the professional review expense of engineers, community planners, and other professionals deemed necessary for review of permit applications, proposed site plans, and other applicant requests.
We have a motion for item A on the floor.
I'll make a motion.
We have a second from Commissioner
Second.
Olson. Third from Commissioner McMaster. Is there any discussion over this item?
We got a resolution on it, we're gonna read that.
You do have a resolution in front of you.
You can just put it directly. Oh, okay.
Any other discussion on the item? All in favor of moving item A under Econ and Phys forward to tomorrow signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion will move forward.
Item B, the committee moved to consider resolution number 20-02-01 to establish the Shiawassee County Construction Board of Appeals in accordance with the Uniform Construction Code, MCL 125.1501, etc.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for item B. Commissioner discussion, questions over this item? I do, I have a question. The wording to establish, was this not already something we had established? I can't remember us voting.
Should be to amend.
Yeah, it should be to amend.
Amend.
Let's reword. We don't want to establish.
Yeah.
It talks about the, and I don't think it says established, do you have it right now?
Yes.
Yeah, we haven't established. It says to establish. It says, I think it should, you're right, it should say to amend.
To amend. The resolution may not say establishment.
Oh.
Yeah, that's.
Perhaps we would change our item B.
Motion makers will,
I apologize, the
Yeah.
motion itself was written to talk about a current, we have a current one, we want to turn it from
Okay.
7-3.
To amend.
And I apologize that the language still remains that way.
yeah. I would change to establish in my motion to amend. Is that,
Yes, Commissioner Holzhausen, is that okay with you?
Yes.
okay.
Anyone else have? I think that's the right move.
No, and by amending it, we are going from 7 members to 3 members. Because this board is rarely going to meet, but it is a statute that we have to have it. And we have to have specific
People with construction skills.
construction, skilled trades that fit in that. So we will get 3 people. We're going to try to find 3 people instead of 7.
That
Much
sounds-
easier to staff.
Yeah, that sounds good, especially when you need a quorum,
Yes.
and if you don't have 4 in there. Good. All right, is there any other discussion or questions over item B? Hearing none, all in favor of moving this on to tomorrow signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion will carry to tomorrow.
The committee moved to consider approving the discharge of a rehabilitation mortgage dated August 26, 2016, executed by Laisel and Barbara Orser of 1025 South Washington Street, Owasso, Michigan, and authorize the board chair and county clerk to execute the document.
Discussion? No, I have none. I was just, so we didn't make another motion and another second.
No,
Yeah, yes, very good.
We only need a second.
only need a second.
We'll give it to the chair.
All right.
He's a second. All right, so item C is open for discussion or questions, if there are any. Hearing none, all in favor of moving C forward signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Item C moves forward.
Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Plummer. At this time, we're going to move on to our Public Safety and Courts Committee report. The chairman of that committee is Commissioner McMaster. The floor is yours.
Mr. Chair, item A, the committee moves to consider authorizing the Youth Detention Center to hire a youth services specialist starting at $15.39 per hour. Youth services salary grade 2, step 1, to fill a vacancy.
Support.
Item A has been moved and supported by Commissioner Webster. Any questions or discussion over this item? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Motion carries with 1 nay.
Agenda item B, the committee moves to consider approving the fiscal year 2019-2020 grant contract with the Michigan Indigent Defense Commission, MIDC, for the Public Defender's Office. Total authorized budget of $945,865.40, state contribution $839,784, and local share of $106,082 for 10/1/2019 to 9/30/2020.
Support.
We have a motion and a support for item B. Any questions or discussion over this? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. This motion also carries. Thank you, Commissioner McMaster, for this. Is there anything else that you wanted to add to your committee?
Not for my committee, but under other agenda items, I have a few comments I'd like to make.
Do that. And now we're going to move on to our Health and Human Services Committee. The chairman of that committee is Commissioner Garber.
Thank you. First item, consider authorizing the health department to hire a secretary grade 2 at salary grade 2, $28,579 to $34,944 to fill a vacancy.
Item A has been moved and supported by Commissioner Holzhausen. Questions, discussion over the item? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
All right, our next item, consider authorizing the Veterans Affairs Office to hire an administrative assistant, Veteran Services Coordinator, AFSCME salary grade 3 of $30,722 to $37,565 to fill a vacancy.
Item B has been moved.
Support.
We have a second. Commissioner Webster, any questions or discussion over this item? Hearing none, all in favor of moving item B forward signify by saying aye. Any opposed, same sign. Motion will move forward.
That would conclude my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Garber. So at this time, we're going to move on to the chairperson report. Chairman Root, the floor is yours.
No report. I'll give an update tomorrow on, we had a pension investments ad hoc committee this week. And then some of the other things we're looking forward to doing, I will have in my report tomorrow.
And so then we'll go ahead and move on to other agenda items. Commissioner McMaster, I know you mentioned.
Yeah, okay, so similar to what Chairman Rudd said, I've been heading, Marty Christopher and I have been heading up the technology committee. We had our first meeting. I'll give a report on that tomorrow and stuff that's in motion with that. I just wanted to have a discussion, not to engage the crowd, but during public comment, I want to make a couple things clear. We are waiting on the Attorney General's opinion submitted through Senator Tom Barrett's office, and I will follow up with him to see the status of that, to determine legally if we lease or build a veterans office, what fund it can come from and everything. So there is no rumor, there is no conspiracy that we're legally gonna lease or build another building or whatever. We're doing our due diligence. We've talked about this, goes all the way back to September, October, if my memory serves me right. Sometimes it takes 6 months to a year for Attorney General's opinion. Secondly, on the homeless veteran issue, and there's a meeting this Friday of the Homeless Coalition up at the hospital. If anybody wants to attend, there was the point in time count, the pit count that I participated in. I don't know if everyone in the audience participated in this, to go and count veterans in Shiawassee County. We will find out Friday if there are any homeless veterans. As of last month, I was informed that there were 2 new homeless veterans in the county, not from our county, but had moved into our county. One was at somebody's house awaiting, they're homeless, they don't have their own home, but they're not out on the river, they're not out on the street. One of these individuals was put up in a hotel, I believe, and the other one is staying at a relative's house or a friend's house or something like that. So the number has increased from 2 that were early established up to 4, but they are being served by the agency upstairs and numerous other agencies that were at that table at that homeless coalition meeting. So I just want to say, it's not that we don't care about homeless veterans, it's not like we're looking into this. I have no idea, Fiddler on the Green or the Bancroft home, where those veterans are going to come from. They're not all going to come from Shiawassee County. Newsflash, there are homeless veterans outside of Shiawassee County, and they will probably come and stay at those places. That's where we are. I don't believe that there is a large number of homeless veterans wandering around anywhere. They're not being served by the agency upstairs or the 20 other agencies that are on the homeless coalition. Now, maybe something was uncovered. Personally, I covered a lot of ground, a lot of miles, and we didn't find any homeless, let alone homeless veterans. We were out on the county line, on some public land. Maybe that'll change from Friday. Maybe we'll have new numbers, but I think there seems to be confusion, misinterpretation over what's homeless, what's not, who's being served, are they residents of our county, are they moving here, future plans, et cetera, et cetera. Make that clear. Thank you.
Okay, is there any other commissioners that would like to discuss anything or add anything to the agenda at this time? All right, hearing none, we're going to move back to our public comments. This is the second opportunity for the public to address the board in the interest of expediency of this meeting. For those who've already spoken, we're going to go ahead and cap people at 3 minutes this time, so they'll go over if you would time that. We'll go ahead and move on to Matthew Shepard from Perry. The floor is yours again, sir.
This pertains to administrative actions. I'd like to address my discourse and the removal of Marlene from different committees, just based on personal vendettas. Professional attributes should be considered, not just personal reasons of getting rid of somebody or not appointing somebody.
Thank you. Is there anyone from the public that would like to address the board at this time? Yes, Mr.
Since Commissioner McMaster's brought the subject up again about he hasn't been able to find homeless veterans. I don't know where the heck you're looking, Dan. I really don't. Marlene goes out, behind the Owasso VFW. There's a group over there. I went over there a few months ago, and there, out of 8 people that came out of the woods, 3 of them were vets. as is upstairs. Cindy comes up to our VA meetings all the time. And do you remember the number that they said they helped last year of homeless vets?
I do not, Les. It was under 20, I believe.
Yeah. As is, so there's more than one or two. There's quite a few. And a few months ago, I submitted reports by state and national on homeless veterans in our state and in our county. And there, according to both of those, there was at least 50 veterans a day seeking assistance with something in the county. A number of them were homeless. Yeah, you're right. There are a few that are living on couches of friends and family, or maybe in a car or something, but there are a number that are out in the woods, as is, and I've talked to Crystal over in that Helping Hands in Westtown. She knows for a fact that there's a number of veterans, a number of homeless. She takes tents out there. And I don't know about you guys, but sleeping in a tent of any kind this time of year is not someplace you want to be. They need someplace where it's insulated and warm, just so they can survive. And those are the ones that we are really worried about, because they every day they are in a lot of trouble trying to survive overnight in these temperatures that are below freezing. We need to help them. As is in saying they come from another county is a bunch of baloney. We have more up here that are moving to other states down south because it's warm. Okay, so we got more moving out than we have moving in. But we still have homeless. And denying them is not the answer. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else from the public that would like to address the board at this time? No.
I just want to make sure that everyone understands when I'm asking for this part-time position, this money cannot be used to support MERS or anything like that. This is a fund that per the law is to be used for the clerk's office only for the cost of administering this act. That is section 28.42 of the CPL Act. And its allowable expenditures include, but are not limited to, any of the following costs of the county clerk. Staffing requirements directly attributable to performing functions required under this act. And this is what I'm asking for. I did forget to say on Monday that my balance right now in there is $128,000. And that does not account for some monies that did not get reimbursed from 2017. I haven't been pushing that because I'm open to a conversation with that. However, my numbers prove that we need more help. I am not going to a training tomorrow and Friday because we have been hit so hard and then the illness at my office. I have to do what I have to do for the constituents and to make sure our elections go off without a hitch. And so I will forego going to a conference to get extra training, and I have someone that will bring back stuff for me from another county. This is the kind of thing I've done in the past. I'm not looking to be pat on the back. I'm willing to do what it takes to get the job done. But I'm going into my 4th year. This is 2020. Everyone knows what this year looks like. Our county is a target. Our state is a target. And I'm trying to be due diligent. I've been trying to be due diligent. And so I want to remind everyone that the money is coming from a fund that I'm perfectly, I'm utilized for the benefit of the office. That's all.
Thank you.
Am I allowed to ask a question?
Yeah.
You said it can't be used for MERS. you would, maybe so it can be, what you meant is it can't be used for other employees outside of your offices, MERS, correct? Like, we can't just throw it in a pot to pay MERS. Because, I mean, if you're hiring an employee, you would be paying all of their packages out of it and their expenses, so it would be paid to MERS. What you mean is it's not gonna go to the sheriff's MERS or to everyone. How some money just throws into a pot, we pay
Right.
MERS for it. That's, I just wanna make sure we're clear on that. We'll still pay MERS. I mean,
For the.
in your office for your employee, yes.
This does not have any benefits.
But yeah, that won't make sense, but
But-
for your other, if it ever does go,
Even if it
it will. That's just what I was, not to challenge it, I'm just making that clear.
And I had another question. So it can only be used for staffing, or was that including? So you can only use it for an employee?
It's staffing, technology upgrades, including technology to take fingerprints, which I'm looking at trying to do that, and office supplies, and then document storage and retrieval systems for system upgrades.
I think it's all though in support of the act, the CCW.
Yes.
Okay, so I mean, even the person would have to be in further so that act.
So anything that's taken place with upgrades as to computers or anything, me or anyone in the file records office, because we all touch the CPLs, I've used those funds for anything and everything that I possibly can. Even for some stuff with Heather, because she is qualified to do CPL.
Anything from the board?
Well, I'm working on this tomorrow about the veterans issues.
All right, meeting adjourned.
More to come.
What were you gonna say again? More to come.